The world around us and the political situations we see evolving are often complicated, they're challenging to understand, and often worrisome. Sometimes we see what's happening across the scene and we just watch like a deer in a headlight, unsure what to do. Is there anything we can do? Well, today's discussion with Steve Ashkin, the founder of the Ashkin Group, will spotlight opportunities for you in the cleaning industry. Steve, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeff.
So this topic we're going to talk about is important to you, is close to your heart. Tell us why it means so much to you, Steve.
Well, thank you for asking. And, candidly, there's two reasons. And the first is, my family immigrated from that part of the world about 100 years ago. So, I feel some personal connection to it. But candidly, it was 100 years ago, right? And the reason I sort of add that but is because the real reason I care about this is because I'm a moral person. You may not know that, during my 20s, I did a church mission for 6 years. I care. I think most people care. And candidly, I don't think you can be in the cleaning industry and not care about people. Mm-hmm. After all, we're an industry that works with people. And in many of our communities, we work with immigrants and some of them from that part of the world. So my primary connection to it is just as a moral human being that cares deeply about what's happening, especially to the innocent victims, the children, the elderly, and what have you.
Yeah, obviously we're talking about conflict across the oceans and in other countries. Many times, Steve, we sit here in this country and other developed countries and we see what's happening. We don't really know what it's like. We were talking earlier about the power goes out or some small little thing happens to us and we panic, we get upset. We have no idea what real suffering is like. Well, some may know, but generally we don't. Let's talk about leadership in our industry because we want people to step up and lead and help. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing that I want to say is I love our industry and I am so proud of ISSA. And specifically what I'm referring to, and I don't know if all of your listeners are aware of this, is that ISSA and its partner, Hugh Leary. So I really want to acknowledge John Barrett and Tony D'Andrea for their leadership. They canceled their event in Moscow. And today it's getting easier and easier for associations and companies to pull out. I mean, after all, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, I saw yesterday McDonald's, Starbucks, all these companies are pulling out of Russia, or at least temporarily putting their business there on hold. But instead of jumping on the bandwagon or doing nothing at all, ISSA, before it was popular, demonstrated real leadership by canceling their program, being willing to absorb the financial hit because it was the right thing to do. And before it was popular, because there was a lot of risk then, what would the pushback be? So I can't be more proud of John and Tony, of what they did and really rising to the occasion. And I hope every member of ISSA really recognizes it and appreciates the leadership that our industry is showing.
So Steve, many might wonder how they can make a difference when it comes to helping or giving, thinking about our industry involvement, whether it's a global scale or more localized. I know you have thoughts on how we can do that.
Well, the first thing that I really want to do is encourage people to do something, anything. So, I'm proud that I was able to reach out to John and say, John, please consider this. I've reached out to some of the other professional associations and groups that I'm involved with. What can you do? And I want to encourage all of your listeners to do something. Talk to your companies. Talk to your vendors. Is there something that they can do? And the other thing is just on a personal level, to donate or find ways to contribute. There's lots of places to donate. And, whether it's to, the International Red Cross or UNICEF, and one of the things I want to encourage people to actually think about is also follow your passion. So, for example, we're really into food and cooking. My significant other, Carrie, is just an amazing cook and she loves to cook. So one of the things that we did is we donated to the World Central Kitchen, which provides foods on the front lines to refugees. So, if you're into kids, donate to UNICEF. If you're, find a way to connect your passion to giving and helping. And the only other thing that I want to encourage is just verify that the organization you're giving to is a reputable organization. Because unfortunately, at times like that, there's scammers and people trying to make a buck. So just go online, check out the organization. There's verifiable sources. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to search on Google for this stuff. But just make sure that if you're going to make a sacrifice, if you're going to give even $5, whatever you can give, that is actually going to really help the people in the Ukraine.